Alright,
Yeah, sure. Let's get going.
let's do this. What's up, guys? Maname here, and today I am joined with...
Hey guys, RC Anime here.
Good job. 10 out of 10, 10,
Yeah.
10 out of 10 intro. I'm proud of you.
Mm,
So, yeah, let's stall a little bit, because we still don't have anyone on yet. It'll take probably like 8 minutes, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how many...
did you tweet this out?
Yeah, I tweeted it out.
Okay.
Actually, I think I just probably sent a third one. Let me see. I generally don't have any people who join in on the live stream. Like, I might have like 10 to 12 people generally who consistently stay throughout the stream. But generally, like, after it goes up, it gets like 200 to 300 views. What are you two debating?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what we're debating. the giant thumbnail saying Angel Beats. Isn't that the guy Digi
Yeah.
Damn. Let's get straight to the point, huh?
The feeling's mutual as well, but you know, what you gonna do about it? I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll circle back to that just for you guys.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's up? So my name is Maname, and today I'm here with.
Yeah, RC Anime.
There we go. We got
that punk
dude.
bitch motherfucker.
All right, so today we're gonna be talking about Angel Beats. So personally, I love Angel Beats. Angel Beats has like a soft spot in my heart, and it's always been one of my favorite anime. Whereas RC Anime, on the other hand,
I find its flaws too significant for me to really like it. I guess that's a easy way of putting it, a politically correct way.
PC, right? That's okay. It's not a
Yeah.
PC channel. You're allowed to say whatever you want. So
yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it too much, but. Mhm.
So today I'm going to be trying to defend trying to defend Angel Beats while you
Yeah, defend RC Anime, please.
and while you try to debate why it's bad. So today is basically this is basically a start of a new series. So I wanted to try to do this like 2 weeks ago, but then the guy ended up not showing up because he was asleep at work. So let's debate Angel Beats. This should be pretty fun. So I have a question. What do you hate about Angel Beats? What was the biggest, like, your biggest pet peeve with Angel Beats?
Well, I guess all criticism is based off of the idea that something is lacking, and for me, I just feel like the pathos of all the main characters, in a way, don't feel completed for, the cathartic end where they all sort of reach this point of I guess, psychology where they think that they can pass on from purgatory. A lot of it just felt like it was like that, and I guess it didn't sell the emotion to me when I was telling you to feel it. That's it's my basic argument.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I have to admit, a lot of people have recommended Angel Beats to. That's the general argument they have, is that the ending was, I know you didn't say this specifically, was rushed and didn't feel completed. Like the characters were kind of forced out at the end. Correct? Is that is that the assumption I'm making? And I do kind of,
and also.
Go ahead. No, continue.
I feel like there is some tonal inconsistencies throughout. At points, I can never tell how dark or light each moment wants to be, because they happen back to back without much balancing between them.
See, okay, I get where you're going with that, but I actually disagree with you. I feel like that was one of the things I actually had written down as my pluses, was their ability to switch tones and kind of lead you in from one feeling to another feeling. But that's just personally like my kind of taste. Like I understand like a lot of people prefer like a show to have one basically standard tone. Like I know what's the war anime that just came out this season? Yojo Senkai.
War anime?
Yeah. I had a pretty serious problem with Yojo Senkai, and I think the biggest problem with Yojo Senkai, one of the biggest problems with Yojo Senkai was that the tone was so consistent and stale that I actually got bored. So I feel like they were able to shift from like this comedy to serious to pretty dark at times, and back to comedy. And I think that was personally one of my favorite things about it was the ability to shift tones pretty flexibly.
Oh yeah, when I say tonally inconsistent, I don't think that shows that can switch back and forth are bad. It gives it more color. Like, I think a good show by Jun Maeda that does this is Clannad. Clannad makes you laugh a lot and also makes you cry at many points. And that's because Clannad has so much more time to give each of the characters this sort of foundation to act upon. So every time they feel sad, every time they feel happy, or every time they're joking around, pranking each other, there's you can understand where they're coming from. In Angel Beats, it doesn't have the time, of course, because it's a 12-episode series, and a lot of that has to be sacrificed. So it's less. The comedy and the more serious moments feel less about the characters and more to just getting to the point, getting to an idea without letting the characters to control the pacing. The pacing forces the characters or the storyline into certain checkpoints.
I see your point. So I have a question. Do you think that if the show had 24 episodes, that it would have been better?
I mean, there's definitely the possibility of that, but again, just because Angel Beats is a 12-episode series, that doesn't mean that it automatically is bad. There are certain ways that you can work around things that come against your production. A show that's airing right now, Kemono Friends, has literally everything going against it. So the show is based off of a mobile game, which was canceled a month before the show even started airing. And the TV station gave the rights to the show to whoever was going to make it the cheapest. So essentially, no one was going to care about this show. It was given a time slot in the middle of the night that people were just going to forget about. But it became a sensation in Japan. It's a huge sleeper hit. People in America or in the West in general are also talking about it. And that's because it understands its flaws. It knows it has really bad CG animation, but how can you use that to sort of make that weakness a unique strength to the show? I think that Angel Beats could have done that. Maybe some people do think it did that, but for me, I feel like it tried to ignore the fact that it was a 12-episode series and still wanted to do everything it initially planned to do. Because the original planning for Angel Beats was, I believe, don't quote this from me. I'm pretty sure this is true, but it's just that I'm pretty sure Jun Maeda planned Angel Beats to be a 24-episode series originally. I don't know what happened. I could be wrong, but having seen the show and looking at how it sort of developed a lot of subplots, it seems that that is the case, because there are so many characters in the, what was it? Is it SOS? No, that's Haruhi. That whole like circle that's surrounding Otonashi and Yuri. I feel like each and every one of the characters were supposed to be given a story, especially TK, but we never get there. And maybe some people like that, but I don't know. To me, it felt like it was forced to skip it out because it was ignoring the whole issue.
See, I see your point. I actually want to bring up something. So, did you know that actually Angel Beats was sort of based off of Clannad? It was the idea behind it was that, once again, like you said, they were going to go into every single character's back story and go through their lore, but they ended up. I do believe that they did end up having to cut down to 12 episodes. That was the whole reason why they shortened the script as much as you could. But one of the things I do have to admit, one of the reasons why I recommend this anime to everybody is the first episode. Because you're talking about how to use your time wisely and how to establish tones and how to push things back and forth. And I think Angel Beats' first episode is probably one of the best first episodes in anime. Which is ironic because if it's based after Clannad, for anyone who's actually watched Clannad, the first 3 episodes are just kind of like really boring because they're like, let me establish 25 characters that we're going to get really attached to later on, but like we'll come back to them after that. So personally, I think one of the biggest things about this show has it going is the first episode and the quality of the first episode. And although I do admit, I will give you that one, is that the quality definitely does kind of go downhill because I feel like it does get rushed towards the end. I still feel like it never got to the point where it ruined the anime for me. I was still happy with the ending. Now, granted, I wasn't like, oh, this is like the god masterpiece anime that Clannad version 2 sort of thing, but I still think it was very good, and it was interesting to see an anime that basically fixed the problems that Clannad, in my opinion, had, and then accidentally screwed up some of the problems that Clannad didn't have.
Well, I mean, in defense of Clannad, it is adapting off of a pre-existing visual novel, and as all, the general desire for a visual novel adaptation is that you touch upon every route until you finally reach the main route. So, of course, how every visual novel starts, you essentially have to go through that, I guess you could say, boring, tedious stage of, touching on each of the characters that you are going to choose paths towards. So, Clannad has that obligation. Angel Beats, however, is an original story and isn't adapted from anything, so it has a free form of starting anywhere and wanting to tackle anything. So there is that aspect of it.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, what exactly was your point?
Oh, I'm just saying that it's kind of unfair to try to compare the beginning of Clannad and the beginning of Angel Beats because they come from two different sources, and one has the need to set up multiple possible visual novel routes, while the other is its own story and has only really one path to follow.
I see your point, but I feel like as though like the first episode, I mean, like I said, like I'm trying to ignore the back half of the series because I mean, like I said, I do agree with you on that point. I think you have a very valid point, but I feel like if I'm just saying, like if we had mixed the two, like let's say, because I feel like though the first episode had properly established just about every main character in the show, and did it really well, while at the same time not making me lose interest and like really immersing us into this world. Because the immersion of the first episode is just one of those things that's just ridiculous to me. Was the whole like I mean I just remember seeing. Granted, this is like one of the first anime I ever watched, so I remember seeing the first like the machine gun scene where they all pull out the guns and it's like the freaking party's going in the background and you're just like thrown into this crazy world with Otonashi, and it's just I don't know. To me, that was like one of the most immersive experiences I had in anime. So maybe I'm just nostalgic. I will agree. I'll give you that much. And I'm probably just nostalgic for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, well I'm nostalgic to Mayo Chiki because that's one of the first anime I saw, but that's not a good show at all. No, actually, that scene of Angel Beats that you mentioned, I'm actually not a fan of that scene. I felt that I understood what it was going for, sort of the same idea of paralleling both the concert and the gunfighting scene to create this sort of river of intensity. So if one spot gets a bit too boring or too tedious, you get to switch to another exciting spot. And also it serves as a narrative purpose that the band are distracting everyone else while the other group of kids are fighting Kanade or Tenchi, whatever you want to call her. And like that I understand, but the delivery of it just felt too frantic. I guess the cinematography and the compositing of it didn't feel structured well enough to allow that tension to flow concurrently between the two. It just sort of forced you into the fact that they were happening together, and it's just, it wasn't very immersive in my opinion.
I think we're just going to agree to disagree on that one, because personally, like I've actually rewatched that scene multiple times, and I feel personally I feel like the flow of the scene is almost like, for me, perfect, because it's like you're pulled into this crazy scene, and you're kind of like overstimulated by all the stuff that's going on, And then you really get to see Otonashi as he's basically being overstimulated by all the shit going on. So you really get to like see like through his lenses of like, holy fuck, what the hell is going on? And just like for me, that was like, to me, I feel like that's the perfect way of setting up and building a main character that you're already starting to relate to, because you're thrown into this world with him basically. Like the first thing you see is him waking up. So obviously you have no recollection because you've never watched the freaking anime. And then he, like, memory wipe thing. Although, granted, I will admit that's a little bit cheesy, personally. But I think it's a good narrative tool to help push the story forward.
You see, I think a show that does what you're saying really well is Masaki Yuasa's Kaiba. Because Kaiba has a really, really extraordinary world. Something that's so unique, I never have seen it anywhere else. It's hard for me to try to explain the rules of the world because it's so complex, but Yuasa is able to take you through all the rules in the first episode so visually, and also really quietly, because he uses every part of the frame. For example, one shot you would have a character in the bottom right of the frame, and he's seeing something that catches his eye out of the frame. Yuasa cuts 180 to the next shot, and what he's seeing is also in the bottom right of the frame. And that, whatever thing that's going on there, like the characters or the target might move to the left side of the frame, and another cut, something that thing is alluding to or putting attention to, is also on the left side of the frame. So there's this sort of symmetry working around, and your eyes are always following what you're supposed to know about the world visually. Angel Beats sort of just has things being tossed around, especially with the shaky cam effect, and it didn't work very well for me in many of the aspects of Otonashi being introduced into this world, because a lot of the frames, a lot of the storyboarding it felt like it was just done for the sake of being done, and that might be because of Seiji Kishi, who's the director, and Kishi normally doesn't, he himself admits that he doesn't normally pay much attention to that aspect of filmmaking, like editing and framing. He mainly just cares about doing stuff that is entertaining, which there's nothing wrong about that. It's just when you're trying to go for that sort of experience of learning the rules of a new world, that can get lost if you don't know how to give it a certain guideline visually, because being told everything is boring, but if you want to show everything, you have to essentially do it that way, I think.
I have a question. By Kaiba, you're talking about the animated series that's like looks almost like a cartoon?
You could say it looks like a cartoon, but it looks, Yuasa has this really keen ability to use the animation medium to its fullest form.
Okay.
So he's not going to stick to what we normally see with anime, the normal tropes, because they don't push the medium far enough, or they don't push the medium all the way. That's why Yuasa's aesthetic looks so different from everyone else's. And that's why all of his shows look really different from each other.
Yeah, speaking of which, I've actually watched Kaiba. I was just making sure we're talking about the same anime. That thing is a masterpiece. Yeah. If you guys have not seen that, go watch Kaiba. That's like one of the most, like, I feel like no one's actually really watched it, but personally, like, just like visually and like storytelling, and I mean, the only thing I had a little complaint about was the ending was a little bit too like weird for me. But I'm getting way off topic, but yeah, if you guys haven't seen Kaiba, like, go lock yourself in a room and get really depressed and watch Kaiba. It's a really complicated anime. It's really complicated, Kaiba. Okay, so what was my other thing? Another thing I want to talk about a little bit, for me, like my last little stand here, is PA Works as a company. For me, I know a lot of people don't like PA Works. I understand that, but PA Works to me is like one of my favorite studios. Just about anything they make hits a certain threshold of quality. They're kind of like, for me, like Studio Madhouse. Just about anything they touch generally comes out pretty ridiculously good. Now, granted, like I said, I think Angel Beats is still a pretty amazing anime, but like I said, it's probably just nostalgia. But I feel as though everything that has PA Works label on it, at least for me, has a higher standard that it must be upheld to be liked, I guess. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Well, I mean, I kind of think. Well, the argument's a bit ironic to me because, well, PA Works right now is trying to get that in-house staff. Like, KyoAni has an in-house staff. It currently is the only studio with a full in-house staff. PA Works is trying to work towards that. They're working really hard, and they're within probably give or take 5 years. They might reach that level. So in the past 5 years, PA Works has been creating these shows like Hanasaku Iroha, Shirobako, Naki no Asukara, with this sort of in-house staff that they're trying to develop. Most of them are still freelancers, but they're really now getting this team together that want to specifically create shows within a certain PA Works aesthetic. Angel Beats was before that era happened, so technically it wasn't visualized as a part of that whole in-house idea, but I see what you mean. Obviously, Angel Beats does have visual similarities because Jun Maeda has worked on another recent PA Works show, which is Charlotte, and I've actually, me with Callum from the Canepa Effect, have actually interviewed Kenji Horikawa in person, the CEO of PA Works, and the reason why he works with Jun Maeda a lot is because Jun Maeda is quite prolific in the industry. Most people know his name, whether he is liked or not. That's a different question. That's up for debate. But they essentially, Angel Beats was just an option to give Maeda almost free reign to do what he wanted based off of the success of the key works and the key adaptations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I gotta ask, you dropped a bomb. You said you lined up an interview with this guy? How did you do that?
That's more Callum's doing. I was there to mainly film and provide other other additional questions that Callum didn't have, and also took part in the discussion afterward. But yeah, most of it was through Callum and his uncanny connections on Twitter. That kid is just, he's going places.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, I have to admit. Oh god, that's insane.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I mean, I think I'll give you the W on this one. I totally came unprepared though. I'm not gonna lie. Although you said the same thing, so I guess I have no excuse.
Yeah, I'm not. Of course, there's a lot worse than Angel Beats. I don't think Angel Beats is horrible. There's certainly fun moments. I do like Angel Beats more for its comedy than its drama, though.
Yeah, no, the comedy in Angel Beats is good. I do personally. I still like the drama, but then again, I haven't watched it in like 4 years, so who knows? Okay, so while we still have you on the thing, let's get some questions out of the way. And I'm sure we know the first one is gonna be. So I'm not even gonna
bring it in.
Not even gonna let the comments wait. Digibro, this whole entire drama with Digibro. What's your take on it? Being someone who got directly attacked by Digibro.
Well, it's not drama. I do tend to joke around a lot about Digibro's videos, or the idea of his videos, because I do think that they're highly self-indulgent. A bit too far, and knowing Digibro's personality, having been in contact with him before, I guess I would just say he said a lot of things about me, so I would just, I guess, retort. He is quite surprisingly cocky, unpleasantly at certain points, so him and I don't really mix mash very well together. Obviously, I said that as a joke. I wasn't even trying to instant the video. He took it very personal. And I feel like the community is more seeing this as a drama. They're making it bigger than it actually is, maybe because they like the idea of reality shows, and this is the Bad Girls Club version of Annie 2 going on. But Callum spoke in a call with Digi after the whole debacle, and this is Digi not being drunk anymore. Digi really did stand by everything he said to the very last word of that half-hour video. And because of that, him and I we don't work well together. I don't really see it as drama, where it's pretty mutual. There's no discrepancy in that. The idea of Digibro trying to make fun of my voice, well, the thing is that I've been on YouTube for about 4 years now, and people have always been saying that in the comments. So it doesn't really. It's not even original.
See, my thing is that you're like honestly, your voice isn't that like it's not bad. Like there's significantly worse on YouTube. One person in particular who I will not name just because I don't know if he watches my videos or not, but one of these guys who has hundreds of thousands of subscribers has like the most annoying voice to me, and I don't comprehend it. So
Yeah.
I don't see it. At least I don't hear it. My bad. Let me specify. That makes no sense. But yeah, no, I think it was interesting that Digi would lash out as heavily as he did. I was thinking about probably pulling him on in the next couple episodes if I could, just kind of get like his like sober opinion. But yeah, I mean, you didn't take any of that stuff to heart, did you?
Well, no, because I can't take anything Digi says to heart. I mean, I am forever grateful that he called me a punk bitch. That, I mean, I can just. It's such a great labeling now, and people will always remember that. I see it as more of a gif than a curse, definitely, and I feel that. I mean, of course, I wasn't the only one targeted. In the first half of the video, he hits Mutter's Basement and Gigguk, and that's a completely unrelated thing from me, so I try to stay away from that. I like to think that I'm cool with Gigguk. I've spoken to him in real life before, and I really like him as a guy. I think he's really funny. I think he's really chill. I've met Mutter's Basement once for a brief moment, and my only opinion of him is that he's really tall. I do like his opening analysis, though. But yeah, to me, Digi has this uncanny ability to make what he says in his videos seem as if they're intellectually more valuable than anything else that's being said on YouTube, and I just don't agree with that notion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. When he was talking about, I think the problem is he's kind of stuck in his own head. Because I know specifically in one of the parts in the video, he specifies that, no one else makes content as good as I do, and it's like, you know what, dude, even if you believe that, you don't say that, even in your own mind,
mm-hmm. And being drunk isn't a good excuse for saying all that stuff about the community as a whole, because I guess he did indirectly attack everyone. He even attacked other people whom have no play in what I said on that podcast or what Mutter's Basement is doing in opposition to Digi. Like, he attacked Animat. I don't know why. Under the Scope. I don't know why. Anime Every Day. I don't know why. So it's just that whole thing that's going on. And I know Digi doesn't like anybody mainly for the fact that they're not like him. Like, why does he like the Pedantic Romantic so much? Because the Pedantic Romantic, as Digi himself said, obvious influence from Digi himself. I mean, of course there are people who will probably, like, there are definitely more people who like Digi's content than mine. And I don't think that says anything about his viewers, and I don't think that says anything about his videos or my videos. It's just, it's YouTube. Like, I mean, if we want to make a big deal out of something in the world, I think to look at the ice caps, which are melting, or Oklahoma, which are like getting earthquakes here and there. I think stuff like that is more important than a drunk YouTuber yelling at an Asian guy on the internet because he made fun of his 24 episode series a bit.
No, my only thing is that for me, I feel like this is kind of bad for the community. Like, personally, I try to, like, my hope with the community or channel, and especially with this new series I'm building here, which is very convenient that I happen to get you first on the series, is I really want to try, like, get in the community to be talkative more, to really talk more and try to become, I guess, better educated, like, make smarter moves. Because here's Digi, like, one of the biggest YouTubers in the United States, saying, I'm a drunken American and I can say whatever I want. Well, what is it? 65% of my viewers are not American. They're European, or they're from China somewhere. And for them, when they see that stuff, I mean, I don't want them to associate me with Digibro, like as someone who's a drunk American who's gonna get crazy and start picking fights with everybody just because I'm some drunk American, or like be a stuck up jerk. I mean, I know Digi doesn't mean it half the time, but he definitely comes off as a stuck up jerk. Like, what was it? I know he made a video on what was that show? Mob Psycho 100, which was excellent. Personally, I think it was his best video. But he came off as like such a jerk. I felt bad like recommending it to anybody because it makes the anime community sound bad. And I really wish he would step back a little bit and just look at the fact that he's like one of the opinion leaders of the anime community, if he likes it or not. And by doing these outrageous stuff, by picking fights with all kinds of other channels, by trying to take other people down, he needs to comprehend that he makes everybody look bad by doing that, if he means it or not.
Yeah, I mean, this happens a lot in the community. Of course, it's not... Digi is not the only one who ever instigates drama, of course. That's unfair to say that he does.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of other people who, not maybe through video formats, but especially through Twitter, there are a lot of arguments between different YouTubers constantly. Some of them are friendly. Like, every now and then, Callum, Glenn, and I would go on a little muse arguing about, like, Callum's integrity or, like, my opinions or Glenn's lewd thumbnails. And we do that as a way to be just, like, friendly with each other, to poke at each other a bit for fun. Other people are quite serious, that they essentially just don't want your channel to exist solely for the fact that they don't like the stuff that you produce. And I mean, there are YouTubers who make content that I'm not interested in, but there are obviously people who are interested in that content. Like, I don't watch For Neverworld. For Neverworld's videos aren't for me, but obviously they are for a lot of people. And if they enjoy it, I don't... Besides, sometimes For Neverworld may pass on misinformation, I don't think that watching his videos makes you any lesser of someone who watches Pause and Select videos, which are about academia. I mean, your intellect doesn't define you as a person, is all I'm saying, I guess. And trying to, what Digi wants, to make the community uniform to, it's almost kind of communist, to like just every channel has to be a version of his, that is the ideal form of YouTube. And you can kind of hear it in Digi himself, how he makes, like, his Asterix War video, his Ass Sucks War video is not about just the Asterix War. It's about all visual novel adaptations or light novel adaptations of its kind. And yes, there are a lot of animisms that are repeated, and there are a lot of cliches, but because there are cliches that appear a lot of the time, that may not necessarily be a flaw, or that, because it only happens a lot because that's what people want. And if you're saying that what people want, what the majority wants, is wrong, and is solely wrong, there's no argument about it, then I don't know. I feel like that's just a really closed-minded way of looking at the medium, and I feel like you're forcing the medium to be what you want it to be, instead of you bringing yourself into the medium and enjoying it for what it is. Maybe that's because I always personally see my videos as trying to appreciate what we have, and I don't want to. Every now and then I kind of make an argument saying that I think this thing is done better this way as opposed to this other show that does it another way, but I never mean it in a way that the show I'm using as a counter argument is doing it. Like, you can't, like the argument I made about Angel Beats, sure, maybe it didn't, I don't think it worked for Angel Beats, but that doesn't mean that it can't work for another show. It's with art, there's just so many ways of expressing yourself that trying to tie it down to one formula is just so limiting and kind of boring after a while.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I think you just kind of said it right there. I don't know. I mean, you covered it, man. You got it covered. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Well, congratulations on becoming a meme, by the way.
I'm really happy. I mean, I never thought I'd ascend it this far. I feel feel like I feel like Jesus. You know,
There you
I've
go.
been resurrected 2 days after the whole thing.
All right, man. Well, oh, by the way, I have one last question. One last question, just out of
Yeah.
curiosity. How much did your channel get a boost after Digibro and like Giguk, all of them made those videos?
Like thousands, man. I'm making so much money right now.
Are you? Are you really?
Digi, when's the next video? Please.
There you
Shout out
go. You need to go like make another podcast. Wait one second. No,
Yeah.
let me join you this time for the love of God. Next time you guys do a podcast, we're gonna shit on Digi. Let me join. I need those extra subscribers, bruh.
Well, again, Digi likes to say that we're being passive aggressive. Maybe that's the case, but I mean, I have no purpose to upload a video onto a channel I run for me to just hit you, because I don't want to waste my viewers' time on that. I mean, whenever I make a video, I want them to watch something that maybe they can get something out of, and not some petty argument. I mean, it's between us, as Digi said himself, it's between us, so why would I make a video and bring everyone else into the argument?
You mean like Digi did?
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm sorry. Don't worry, Digi doesn't watch any of my shit. And if he does, you're welcome to join me on the next debate podcast, Digi, and defend yourself. Anyway, man, thanks you so much for coming out, you punk ass bitch.
Yeah, thanks for having me. A punk ass bitch is always lonely, you know?
I'm so glad you came out and joined us. I had a blast. I enjoyed this
Same.
debate. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you guys want to check out his channel, I have a link to it in the description. He makes ridiculously good content.
Yep, subscribe to Mumpty Jones. So, alright.
Anyway,
Yeah,
guys,
see ya.
this is Man Matt. Make sure you guys say, man, go watch that goddamn anime.